I find that when I meet people that are exceptionally brilliant, the relationship day-to-day stuff just kind of isn't their thing. They're not appropriate. They're not, sometimes they say things, they do things. They don't really give a shit what people think, because it never occurs to them that there is a societal norm. And or maybe another part of that is that their parts of their brains are so much more developed than the other parts. And so I just think it's a beautiful thing. There's just beauty in that, clearly.
Yes, that was, if the diagnosis would have been fallen, it would have gone to autism. Because the concept of relationships, I didn't understand people either. I didn't understand why they did certain things, but I really didn't care. There was no interest in understanding them. And also just the concept of money to me was, I just went day by day, and one day I could eat and the next day I couldn't, but I knew somehow money was going to come in and I'd be eating again. So, it's a different way of living, but there's freedom in that. And people nowadays will see people with autism or on the autism spectrum. There's so much labeling now. I don't like that.
I agree.
I don't like the labelings. That's why I didn't bring up the name, but that's what you can compare it with. People who live in their own world are a lot freer than people who don't, who are considered normal. So there's actually beauty to be found in a mind of an autistic person, in a mind where you create your own reality. And you find ways to survive in your own way without being stuck with limitations and boundaries placed from other people upon you. So I thought it was a very fulfilling life. I thought it was very interesting, he says, because there was always creation and evolution. And that is very satisfactory. Now, at the end of my life, I did sometimes wonder whether or not I ever finished anything, because I didn't remember. I had a stroke when I was around. He's given me between 60 and 70. I don't know how old that, but he's just giving me like in between there, and that kind of erased a lot of things out of my memory. But, in the end, it didn't even matter whether I finished it or not, because as you can tell, people feel the energy that was put into it. Mm-hmm. And that is what art is. Art is not about what it looks like. It's about the energy of the painter that was put and placed upon it. Mm-hmm. And just like we get attracted to people, we believe that we are attracted to the way they look. And that is the illusion. We are never attracted to the way a person looks. We are always attracted to the way a person feels, to the energy that person is emitting. And when it comes to art, it is the same way. It has nothing to do with what it looks like. It has to do with whether or not the energy of the painter speaks to you. That's what it's about.
So how was your life review when you crossed?
He says very satisfactory. I was pleased with, he says this might sound a little weird, but I was pleased with the ripple effect that I caused. Because when you get your life's review, you do not only get to see a rerun of your journey, but you also get to see the impact it has on the universe itself. And that was very satisfactory. Okay, well, he's saying, let me tell you a little bit. When I first crossed over, I instantly had instant manifestation, which is something that I never had before. It always took me years and years, and it still wasn't finished. So for the first time, or at least it felt like the first time, it wasn't the first time, but for the first time after you transition, you kind of have to get out of the human mind. I got to create everything that I wanted to create, because I had so many ideas, but they were never realized. Although I tried really hard to get commission and fundings to create them, they were always turned down. So it was really fun to actually create something that did work, and that you know
It was
what I
completed.
do now is, I no longer, at this moment, in my spiritual form, I'm not creating. There's no need for it. But I am assisting young artists that are coming into this journey right now, because and not just artists, he says. I'm also assisting engineers, and I'm assisting musical talent. And, anybody who is working with the creative genius of source. And a lot of children nowadays are coming in with that direct connection. Um, I am assisting. I am aiding them to stay true to who they are, because they are being they see the talent. Parents will see the talent, and then they will be placed upon schools who will try and limit that talent, who will try and force it in directions that only minimizes the effect that their talent can have. And I am here to support and give these children the strength to tell those teachers, no, this is how I do it, and this is how it's going to stay. So they are the ones who will use creative thinking, who will use art, music to heal people. So yeah, that's what he's doing. So he's just showing me how he's feeding them with energy, and he's giving them thoughts and ideas and strength to stay true to who they are, because society will try and minimize and limit their creative mind so they can control it. And the new generation can no longer be controlled. That is why I'm here.
Well, and that what I see is that it what we do is we take kids and then we try to help them, but then really we're just trying to run it through us, not on purpose, but we're directing them instead of letting them direct it themselves, which is very hard as a mother to
It
not do
is
that.
hard, he says, because really indirectly we are trying to force what we were taught, what we are learning, what we believe is right for them, upon them. But the only person who knows what is right for them is them. And we just need to have faith that even a small child knows exactly what and where it wants to go to.
So how do we as parents guide these children?
It's about open communication. It's about asking their opinion. It's about validating their opinion and finding a way to support their opinion that is in a safe way for them. Give them a chance to share and express their thoughts and feelings about where they want to go, what they want to do, how they experience things. And don't see, most people will, or most parents will say, oh, you're too young, you don't know that. And they will they will instantly crush people's dreams. They will instantly say, oh, I don't think you have the skills to do that, or that's not a good job, maybe you should try something that's going to make more money. A lot of people limit their children. But when a child comes up and tells you, hey, I want to paint, I want to be creative, a lot of parents still try to push them in a direction that's going to provide an income.
Right.
Because they have the fear
It's
that
fear.
being creative can't provide an income. It's a tricky thing. But if you induce your fear into that child, then that child will carry that fear with it. And it will never get to the point where it could have been, because it carried the fear for the rest of its life. So be very aware and become very aware of your own thoughts and feelings and how you address the child's dreams. Believe in them as much as they believe in themselves, and they will mount up to exactly what they told you they would do.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that is a huge difference I see from parenting even 20 years ago. It was more of a do as I say, not as I do. Children are to be seen and not heard. And we've shifted, a lot of folks that I know have shifted into the we're not equal, but we are. We're just further along on the path, and yeah. I love seeing that. That seems to be moving in that direction.
He says adults have more experience in the human existence, but children have more experience in connecting to source. He says, dare to be different. Dare to be you. The biggest challenge that humanity is facing right now is they're being faced with two choices. Do I become like everyone else, or do I dare to become me? Exactly. That is the biggest question right now. And, he's saying we're all here to learn. We're all here to experience, to assimilate and create through observation of the relationships around us, whether that is a human relationship, whether that is the relationship with our environment, whether that is the relationship with ourselves. And we're all here to observe. We're all very keen observers, but we need to find the strength and the bravery inside of us to be honest of our observation. And then what we'll do is we'll start to compare all that knowledge and all that gained wisdom to how it applies to the universe as a whole. That is the next step into the human evolution. Now we're just observing, and we're starting for the first time allowing ourselves to observe ourselves for who we are, not for who we were shaped to be. Not to let go of the observation of who we were molded to be. Mm-hmm. So, and the next step in evolution will be, once we discover who we are, once we find our true self, we will then find understanding and knowledge in how us, our little individual character, our little individual person, relates and fits perfectly into everything that is. How our little life is affecting the entire universe. All you need to do, people, is look at what is in your garden, what is outside. Look at your own body. You're living in a perfect world. And we choose to only see the imperfect emotions that are created out of the illusions of others. Choose to see the perfection and choose to see the beauty that you are surrounded with. And you will see that there is perfection in everything that we do as well. No matter how heart-wrenching it is, no matter how much it hurts to see people suffering, there is even perfection in the suffering, because we learn and grow from it, and it expands into an energetic wave that creates compassion over the world. Perfection, he says.
It's beautiful. Thank you for that.